My girlfriend at the time and I went camping 5 hours away from home to celebrate her birthday and our anniversary. We made the trip the day after a big storm passed through. We left town early and got to the camping grounds in the early afternoon. The guy at the entrance to the campgrounds mentioned that there was no one else staying there that weekend. My girlfriend and I thought, this is gonna be sick. Evidently, we were quite excited. In order to get to the site itself, however, we had to drive down these long pathways to our designated area. As we got closer to it, the road narrowed. So basically, if you wanted to get out, you had to back out. We unloaded the car, got the tent set up, and decided to go walk around the woods. It was dead silent, but it was still bright out, so we just took in all the nature we could and walked a few miles away. We reached this point in the woods where there were some weird looking cabins. They were white and very uniform, as in, all of them were built the exact same way. I guess they must have been a part of the camping grounds, but they seemed way out of the way, and there was no sign of life. It felt eerie to be in, like we shouldn't be there. So we turned around and walked back. We took a breather in the tent, and then tried to start a fire in the fire pit. Unfortunately, neither of us had ever been camping before, and had no idea how to start a fire. We had bought some of those self-lighting logs from Walmart and some lighter fluid, but everything else around us was soaked to the bone from the rain that had passed through the day before. We knew we needed kindling of some sort, but any dry sticks or leaves were far and few between. Eventually, we got a small fire going and ate hot dogs and marshmallows and spent some time looking at the stars. Then we noticed just how dark it was out there. My girlfriend was easily spooked, and she asked if we can get inside the tent. After putting the fire out and crawling into the tent, we started talking to calm each other down, but I could tell she was tense. Suddenly, she put my hand over my mouth. Shh. Do you hear that? Before I could respond, we heard footsteps, like heavy footsteps. It sounded like a group of people walking. I whispered to her, "It's probably just animals or something." Then we heard mumbling, like low mumbling. We couldn't make out words, but it didn't sound like a sound an animal can make. It sounded like words but muffled. We sat in silence, staring at each other in the dark for what felt like forever. The mumbling got louder, as did the footsteps, until it sounded like it was right outside our tent. We both froze. I don't think either of us were breathing. And then, silence. We waited and waited. I'm still not sure how much time passed. Eventually, my girlfriend said, "We have to get to your car." The adrenaline was set in. I peeked out of the tent into the darkness and told her to stay behind me. Then we ran to the car. I locked the doors, and she was like, "What the fuck was that? We can't stay here. No one is out here but us. What was that?" I kept looking around for any signs of life, but we were seemingly alone. I looked at her and was like, "Okay, I'm gonna grab our stuff, you stay in the car." We only had our ice chest and our tent out. I ran to grab our ice chest and tossed it in the back seat. As I turned around to go get the tent, I started hearing footsteps closing in again. In a pure moment of terror, I yanked the tent out of the ground, wrapped the tarp around it, and slung it over my shoulder like some panicked Santa Claus, and shoved it into the trunk. I didn't say anything when I got in the car except, "Do we have everything in here?" My girlfriend said yes, and I floored it in reverse out of our camping area. Then we got to a fork in the road that went in like 6 different directions. I asked my girlfriend if she remembered which path we came down to get in here, and she told me she didn't know. We chose a random one and ended up in a different camping spot. I cursed under my breath and slammed it into reverse again. Then I noticed from the angle we had exited from, I could see the main path back to the gate, thanks to a small sign behind an overgrown bush. As we hightailed it out of there, I noticed there was a single, small green light out in the woods to our right, near where our designated spot was. We drove the entire 5 hours back to our hometown and fell asleep on my girlfriend's parents' couch at around 4 a.m. We never talked about the trip ever again, and I haven't had any desire to camp since.